Martin Romero, Board President of Perkin Educational Opportunities Foundation, better known as PEOF, where we are working to create a brighter and more peaceful El Salvador through relevant and life-changing rural education. Today, I have the pleasure to be here with attorney Kelly Fairman. She is a licensed mental health counselor and attorney who has 15 years of practice, primarily in family law. She's located in Graham, North Carolina, but she's able to provide virtual services for really anyone in North Carolina. So Kelly, thank you so much for being here today.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
So this is August Make a Will month. And so I thought it would be a great idea, a great opportunity for folks to really understand what a will is, right? And what that process might be like. I think there's often a lot of hesitation, right, or fear around making a will. So let's start with the basics. What is a will, Kelly?
Sure. So a will is a document that you use to have some control over what happens to what you have during your lifetime. So if you don't have one, then anything that you have that isn't going to be handled through a title or some other contract is going to run through some laws that are set up for this. And you really might not like the ways that happens. So it's a way to help your family too, to know what to do after you pass.
Yeah. And who exactly should make a will?
You know, that's a good question, because a lot of people think that they don't need one because they don't have any assets, but really anybody can benefit from a will, because again, you can make sure that everything goes to who you want it to, and you can keep it, you can, people with small children definitely should have wills, and here's why. So in there, you could come up with something called a testamentary trust. You could do some things to take care of anything left for the kids until they're of a certain age, because if you don't do that, then you'll have somebody named as guardian of the estate. And if it's an attorney or something like that, they're going to get paid for taking care of your kids' assets. And so there's ways to provide for your kids in order to protect them, protect what you leave for them. And yeah, so really anybody should have at least something simple in place.
Yeah, that's important to know that anyone should do this, right? Everyone should.
Sure, everyone should do this. Everyone.
Yeah. Could you run us through briefly what the process is like of making a will?
Honestly, it kind of depends on how you do it. Do you want to do it right, or do you want to have something that's going to cause problems? So the last thing you want to do is go get some form and fill it out, or have somebody who's just going to fill out a form with you. So the way that I like to do it is I'll send people a questionnaire, and I give them some time to go through it, because preparing a will is hard for people, because it's a very real way of thinking about your own death, right? But I'll send them a questionnaire and tell them to send it to me when they're ready. And then you go through, and so you want to figure out several important things. One is, who's going to be your executor? Who's going to take care of that stuff? Who's going to be the backup? Are there any specific things that you want to leave to a specific person? Is there anybody that you don't want to leave anything to? Do you want to split your property differently between people? And then I want to find out if there are some things that we can take care of without putting them in the will at all, because it'll be easier. And then I'll just sit down and work through it with people until we come up with the document. Then it has to be signed by you in the presence of two people who are not related by blood or marriage, and who are not getting anything out of the will, and they have to see you sign.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that seems simple enough, right? That
Sure.
helps, I think, remove a bit of the
mystery.
Right. Yeah. Mystery, right? Around
Right.
Well, thank you. I have heard about the opportunity for folks to be able to leave a bequest and a will, right, to certain charities or, organizations that they really like to support. How does that work?
Absolutely. And I have a lot of people who like to do that. And so what you do is you leave it to the charity just like anybody else. Now, the thing you want to be careful about is how you word it though. So because if you say, I want to leave $5,000 to say your organization, and then you've got $4,999 in cash, the organization gets nothing. So yeah. So what I recommend that people do is set money aside in an account, perhaps, and then just say this person or this organization will get all of the money from this account. Or alternately, what people will do is they'll say, sell this, and this, and then the proceeds from that go to this organization. Or you could deed land to the organization for their use. There are ways you could do that in any number of ways.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. And I think maybe people might have this question, right? So you're making a will, you get it done, right? You go through it. Can you change your will later on?
You can, but you have to be really careful about it. And that's interesting because just this past weekend, I was talking to my mom and she goes, oh, I want to make a change to my will. I'm just going to handwrite that in. Well, Mom, you can't do that. So if you have a typewritten will, you can't make handwritten changes to it. What you can do is you can make an addendum called a codicil. And that needs to be exactly as formal as the right one, as the first one, including all the same signatures and everything. Honestly, in my mind, it's just as easy and probably better to come up with a new one, because then everything is in one document. But so yes, you can. It's just not maybe as easy as some people think. You have to be careful about how you do it.
So it sounds like it might just be easier to go ahead and create a new will.
It might be. And honestly, if somebody comes in and says, I just want to leave all of this stuff the same, but I want to change this part, I mean, that's not going to take long or cost much, especially if they've got an original Word document and I can just change that. So, yeah.
Cool. What are some other questions that people come to you about regarding, creating a will or making a bequest?
Well, one is what kinds of things need to go in the will and what things can be left out of it.
Okay.
So that's a good one. There are sometimes people want to leave provisions for their pets. And so you can have what's called a pet trust, and you can put money aside to have somebody take care of your pets. They want to know about leaving things for their kids, because you don't want a 9-year-old receiving money that they don't know what to do with. Right. Sometimes they'll want to leave money to a child who's not doing well or is not really responsible and might not want them to get it until a certain time. And there are things that we could do within the will to take care of that. Those are some of the biggest questions. And then how specific should they be or not be?
Right. Yeah. How specific should people be?
Well, it's a good question. So you got to be careful about that. So for instance, kind of like I was talking about with the money a minute ago, if you say, I would like to leave my son my Nissan Altima, and then when you die, you don't have a Nissan Altima, you have a Honda Odyssey, he doesn't get anything. So what you do is you say, I want to leave my son any vehicle that I own at the time of my death. And then there are things you want to throw in that you want to have general as a just in case. So for instance, you've got a home titled with your spouse. That's going to go pursuant to the title. But I like to put something in that says, any real estate that is in my name and doesn't pass through a title or another way goes to this other person. So you want to be broad enough to encompass everything, but not so specific that if that thing is not there, the person gets nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it sounds
balance.
like Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like this isn't something that people should do on their own. Um, Perhaps folks should avoid, using those templates that you might see online and then
Yeah.
just think, all right, I did it, right? It sounds like it might be best really consulting, right? Doing this in partnership with an attorney, with someone like you, right, by their side.
Right. Because a will can be challenged, so if you don't do a good job with it and somebody's mad about it, then that can definitely be an issue.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I know that often in thinking about a will, it's scary, right? Because it's like you're thinking about what happens after, right?
Yeah.
But I started to really come to think about a will as, this opportunity to really create a legacy, right? And thinking about your family, or thinking about all the causes that, you really enjoy supporting right now, right? It's an opportunity
Right.
to keep that support going for years and years and years. And I think that's awesome. That's an
That
amazing
is awesome.
opportunity. Yeah,
And what you can do is you can create even a trust that somebody can give money on a certain schedule. I mean, you can do so many things to have that support of that thing that you love last as a legacy, like you say. And that's a really wonderful thing when people are able to do that. And I see people do that, and I see them kind of lift, when they've done that, because they feel good. They feel like, I'm going to be gone, but what's meaningful to me
right.
won't be, so
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Kelly.
Yeah.
How should people be able to how should people contact you if they want to learn more, right?
Sure. So you can give them my email, and that is Kelly, Kelly, at my last name, Fairman, F as in Frank, A as in Apple, I as in Ivan, R as in Robert, Fairman, familylaw.com. Or my office number is 336-639-7216. And 75% of any proceeds from any wills that I do as a result of this video are going to go to your organization.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate that. So
Sure.
thank you so much for taking time to really demystify, right, the will process, and really serving as a support, right, for folks who might want to come to you in the future. So thank you so much.